Good spring election evening. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a nuestro programa para las elecciones de la primavera. Si usted quiere acceso al programa en español, por favor, marque el número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122. Cuando le contestan su llamada, por favor, comparten el código que aparece también en la pantalla, que es 779-328-221. No se preocupe si no alcanzó todos los números que compartí, porque también los vamos a compartir en los comentarios. My name is Tammy Rivera. I'm the Executive Director and Lead Organizer here at Southside Organizing Center. And we are so very honored to be able to bring you today's Vote-a-thon, which is our tradition for the primary and elections in the spring and the fall, to be with you all day, bringing you the latest information on how you can vote. I want to let you know there's a whole team making this happen, very dedicated to ensuring you have all that you need. Carmen Ortiz is our new legal and program director. She is traveling right now because she's representing us at the Just Economy Conference in Washington, D.C. of the NCRC. But she coordinated most of this event, and you'll see her on some of the pre-recorded videos. Shout out to Stacy Carlos, who is producing. And really, we can call her our production trainer now because she's our veteran producer. She's our organizer and the lead of our public resources. And she's onboarding Mario into production, who is our fairly recent communications and digital organizing coordinator. And we thank him for also ensuring that we have bilingual services. Today, folks are calling into a line and can hear the whole program in Spanish and get support that way. Jeanette is our organizer of youth programs. She is also one of our tech whizzes here and is credited with a lot of the creativity you see in the videos being shared and the support that she lends to our youth organizers. We're so very appreciative of her, and she has led the youth organizers and really supported them and challenged them to do exactly what you're going to see them doing in a couple of minutes, which is taking over the Vote-a-thon, and they've done this in the past, and they'll be doing much of the role that I usually play by moderating. And then we want to thank Alexis and Isabel, which are the two youth organizers who are going to be with us today. And Tony Chavez, our operations director, who's been our floating support today for the whole team. And Wilma, who's away for this Vote-a-thon, but provides a lot of internal support as our operations and program assistant. And then lastly, we have Yuseli Flores Villarreal, who's with us. And really, you see her playing double duty today. She is doing our live interpretation right now, but you'll also see her on our pre-recorded video helping us walk through the redistricting. And we do pre-recorded videos in order to reduce the amount of technical difficulties we have when we have live guests. So we do a mix and as much pre-recorded guest interviews as possible to keep things smooth. With that being said, you'll see me with different hairdo or different wardrobes and maybe some other people, but just know those are pre-recorded. We're not doing hair and wardrobe changes in between. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the youth, and they'll let us know if they need us to step in and support them. And so with you now is Alexis and Isabel and Jeanette, the youth organizer.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. This is the SOC Youth Takeover. Heads up, we ask that you please fill out the Vote-a-thon survey at the end of the program or before you leave. There will be a $25 gift card door prize if we get at least 10 surveys. We can see how many of you guys are with us today, but not your names, unless you drop a hello in the comment section. If you voted early, let us know if you vote today. Let us know and share what voter number you were, if you remember.
Oh. In this spring Vote-a-thon theme is why we vote. You will be seeing people answer throughout the live and our staff.
Next up, we have Jonathan Zuniga giving us a walkthrough on what to expect when you vote.
Jonathan, what are some of the common things people get obstructed in voting on? Like, what are some of the complaints we've heard so that they understand the realm of their rights?
I think one of them, you mentioned it, is that after redistricting in last year, some of the polling place changed. So if you already voted in November, that's the same polling place. But if you haven't voted in the last year or so, and this is the first time you're going to vote, then go ahead and go to myvote.wi.gov and check your polling place before heading out your home, so that you can make sure that you're going to the correct polling site. So that's very common thing. Sometimes too, people say, "Oh, I don't have my photo ID. I lost it. I just went to the DMV and I have my receipt that they give me because I'm waiting for the actual car to come in the mail." Right? You can use that receipt as your photo ID. Okay, so go ahead and take that to your polling place, and you can use that as your photo ID. What else?
If they're in line by 8?
If you're in line by 8 p.m., your right is to vote. So chief inspectors, the poll workers at your sites, they know that whoever is in line by 8 p.m. gets to vote. Okay. At 8 p.m., they usually put a poll worker if there's a line so that no one else gets in line after 8 p.m. Okay, so if you're there at 7:59 at 8 and you are trying to register, they're going to help you out and you're going to be able to vote, right? And again, if you have any issues, contact us, call us, because we want to know about it and address it immediately.
And let's walk people through that process in case they've not voted before. So they're going to get to a location. It'll have signs, voting here. You usually follow the arrows. You go to the place. And then what happens is take it from there.
Yep.
Talk about the people who are gonna be there, like the different players, and then what they need to do next.
Yeah. So we have poll workers, and they're called election inspectors, and then we have a supervisor who's called a chief inspector. So you're usually going to meet an election inspector who's a greeter or who's at the door welcoming you into the polling site. And then they're going to determine, okay, are you a registered voter or do you need to register today? So we have two different tables for those processes. So one is where you are already registered and we have the poll books, right? So you go to your ward and then they're gonna look you up. You have to say, hey, my name is Jonathan Zuniga. They look up you in the poll book, and then they're gonna ask you for their address, and you say your address, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and sign the poll book. Okay. So then after you sign, the election inspectors will give you a ballot and a voter number for you. Okay. So then that's your cue to go and get that ballot and voter number and go to the voting booth, make your selections, and then put that ballot inside the voting machine. Okay. And then once you get the voter number, you can comment on SOC's right here page and tell us your voter number, right, Tammy?
Yeah, thank you.
And then
and use the hashtag the Southside votes.
There you go. So make sure you let everyone know that today is voting day. Then, but let's say that you get there and then you need to register. So then they're gonna take you to another table where they're gonna ask you a couple questions. They're just gonna make sure you're at the correct polling place because you have to register at your designated polling place. And they're gonna make sure that you have photo ID and proof of residence, which we just talked about a moment ago. So then once they verify that you have that, then they're going to ask you to complete a application, a voter registration application. We have them in Spanish and English, and then you complete that. The election inspector will review it, make sure you completed everything and that it's legibly, and then they're going to go ahead and sign the bottom part of that application. Once they do that, then they're going to give you a ballot, the voter number, and then you're going to go ahead and make your selection and vote.
Great. Lots of information, folks, to help you vote. We encourage you to do that. We thank you, Jonathan, again for being with us and helping all our community understand what's happening.
Next, we will have Miss Tammy, doing a tour of My Vote. The disclaimer, the views and opinions shared today do not necessarily reflect those of SOC.
Thank you, Isabel and Alexis. We want to give you all a tour of a core website that you can go to that's available 24/7, that you can get all your voting information at. So I'm going to do a quick tour just so that you're familiar with it, you feel comfortable with it, and you can refer to it. I am going to share my screen. Take me a little second here to do so. And then the staff will let me know when it's showing so that I know that you can see it, because I can't see you and the screen at the same time. So as soon as the screen is showing, the staff will let me know and I'll walk through that with you. Great. All right, folks, here's the myvote.wisconsin.gov in English website. You can also access it in Spanish. And so if we see up here, there are several tabs. I'm going to give you a preview of them and then go into some of them a little deeper. So here you can find your voter information, your polling place. Polling place is where you vote, what's on your ballot, what you'll be voting on, what it kind of looks like, and then giving you a heads up that you can update your name and address. You can register to vote. You can vote absentee by mail. Now it's a little too late for that, but you can use the same materials, vote absentee in person, and you can track your ballot. Where is your voting ballot at any given time? And so, like I said, some of these we're going to dig in a little deeper. Some we can't because it requires personal information that we're not able to share. So right now, let's go here. My voter information. And this screen will pop up. You need to add your first name, last name, and date of birth, but it will show you a list of all the elections you voted in. It won't share what you voted, your actual votes, but it'll say that you voted in that election. And then you can check what your current information is in case you want to change anything. And of course, it's asking for personal information. So we're not going to quite delve into how deep this tab goes, but we will for finding our polling place or where we're going to vote. And I'm going to be able to do that because I'm putting in SOC's address, 1300 South Layton Boulevard. And then as an example, right, it's the city of Milwaukee, and it is a 53215 zip code. Shout out to all of you who live in the 15. We also cover the 04 zip code. And if I lived here at our offices, my voting location or poll, same word or same meaning, would be at Durfler School. And then as you can see, it gives me an address. You can get directions. And today voting started at 7 a.m. and ends at 8 p.m. If you are in line by 8 p.m., they must let you vote. And then I'm in Ward 215. If I were living here, don't worry about that when you get to your location. If you don't remember your ward, they'll kindly get you to the right table. So this is where you can find your location to vote. And why is this important? Because after the census, some people's voting location changed. So you really want to double check this so you don't waste a trip. And then we want to see, well, what's on the ballot if I lived here? And for some of you, that's going to be a little different because you might live in a different area. And then so some of the elections change, right? Like who your alderperson is or your county supervisor, and some of the information stays the same. So for this ballot, all of us are going to have the presidential primary. And so what you see here is if you're voting Democrat, you have some options here, some candidates, or you can vote uninstructed delegation, or you can write something in, but you only get one vote. Then if you're going to vote Republican, you'd come to this next section and do the same. You're going to vote for your candidate, uninstructed, or a write-in. There are several judgeships up. There's one Court of Appeals judge in District 1, and then there's tons of county circuit court. So we have Branch 8 and Branch 14 and 17, 18, 20, 23, 24, 28, 38, 39, 43, and 46. So you want to weigh in on all of those. Additionally, we have the position of Milwaukee County Executive up for election, and then the comptroller. We have 2 comptroller positions open for election right now. One is the county comptroller, not to be confused with the city comptroller, which we'll see later in the list. So there are two different comptrollers you're voting for, county and city level. And then in our area, we have Milwaukee County Supervisor District 12 election. Across the city, we have the election for the mayor and the city treasurer. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the city comptroller. Additionally, the city attorney. And then we have for this area, Milwaukee Alderperson District for District 8. And then we have a couple of referendums. And these are what we call binding referendums, meaning the vote will be turned into legislation or in casual talk law. And so later on in the program, we're going to share how to read through these because they're very confusing. But the first one is the state of Wisconsin's use of private funds in election administration. There's a question there. And then the state of Wisconsin election officials referendum. And then the referendum about Milwaukee Public School District to exceed revenue limit referendum. And so this is what your ballot will look like. You'll be filling in, turning those in, and making your voice count during this election. And then I'm just going to quickly go through the other ones. We can't dig deep because they require too much too personal of information. If you're going to update your name or address, you'd start at that same place where we said my voter information starts, your first and last name and your date of birth, and then it'll let you dig into the rest of the things. The same with the register to vote. The same with voter absentee voting and tracking your ballot. But this is a place that you have access to 24/7 to get voting information. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then want to let you know that you can access SOC through all kinds of platforms. We're in person in our office. We're in person in the community. You can call us, make an appointment, or come on over. And then when you get here, you have to call us because it's locked access to let folks up. And you can reach us on all the regular social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We have a youth Snapchat, the website, and YouTube. So Stacey's going to share some more of the Why We Vote campaign. That's staff and neighbors and collaborators. And then the youth are going to come back on with you.
I'm Vanessa Chavez. I'm a community organizing intern, and I think it's important to vote because the people have the opportunity to elect government officials to ensure that our values are at the forefront of American policy, as well as creating a brighter future for future generations. My mom could not vote for a really long time, so now that she can vote, she tries to make sure that she gets to the polls whenever she can, and I try to do the same for the people who can't vote.
Hi, my name is Stacy Carlos, and I'm an organizer here at Southside Organizing Center. And the reason that I vote is because many in the past couldn't vote and still at this present time can't vote. So I want to take advantage that I have the right to vote and that I can vote and I should vote. And also, if I don't vote, someone else will vote for me, possibly on something that I don't agree on. So that's why I vote.
Well, hello, my name is Tony, and I think it's important to vote because it gives you a voice in deciding where your tax dollars go. Every day we look at our city and we think of better ways to spend our money, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's public services, what have you. So by voting, we have more of a say in where our money goes.
Hi, mi nombre es Wilma, y yo pienso que es importante votar porque si queremos ser escuchados en la sociedad, en la política, debemos empezar por el voto.
Hi, it's Jeanette, the youth coordinator here at SOC, and I feel it is important to vote because so many people before us fought for our right to vote. So we need to use our voice to be the change that we want to see in our community. And that starts with us using our right to vote. Your vote, your voice, that's all that matters. Let's get out and vote.
Hi, my name is Alexis, and I'm a youth organizer. Even though I can't vote yet, it gives us a voice for our future, period.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I am a youth organizer here at SOC, and although I can't vote, voting is important to me because it gives people an opportunity to use their opinions to create change.
Hi, my name is Jade, and I think it's important for grown-ups to vote because it'll help in the community and it'll help all around the world.
Next up, we have Yuseli bringing you guys information on the Fair Maps Coalition.
Hi, today we have Yuseli Flores from the Fair Maps Coalition. She's the co-director of the Fair Maps Coalition under the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Yuselis was with us for the primary, so I asked Yuselis to come back and give us a more detailed explanation of what the Fair Maps are doing and how is it the new redistricting affecting our elections. Thank you for coming back, Yuselis. How are you?
Thank you for the invitation, Carmen. I'm really excited to be here and just really excited to provide some really important information for the voters of Wisconsin.
And we have talked about this, and what I would like to accomplish is how to explain what the redistricting means and how is it going to affect our voters. And what does this mean to the voters?
Yeah, of course. So I know SOC has done great work making sure people filled out the census for 2020. So that's where some of the redistricting process starts. After every single person fills out the census, then those numbers are counted and new voting district maps are drawn based on population that has either changed or grown or decreased over the state of Wisconsin. And for just some political context, the last time that we had an opportunity to redistrict was in 2010. And this happened behind closed doors. This happened behind public eye. They didn't allow people across the field to see the maps. And when I'm talking about people across the field is, the Democrats couldn't get to see the maps until they were already enacted and in place. So for the last 14 years, Wisconsin has been living under a gerrymandered map. Gerrymander goes back to the 1800s, where Elbridge Gerry cut up a map in Massachusetts and it looked like a salamander. And the comedian, who was a comic for the New York Times, called it the gerrymander after Elbridge Gerry. And so ever since, the tell of time for the United States, this has been a constant battle for both Republican and Democratic parties. It doesn't matter. They attempt to gerrymander to attempt to control as much as they can. But, no matter where we live, the color of our skin or our political affiliation, who we work, how we worship, or who we love, in Wisconsin, we believe that our votes have to matter and that our votes should be counted and equal representation should be what is happening. So these new voting districts and these new voting district maps are finally going to give Wisconsin voters an opportunity this fall to elect a more representative and balanced state legislature for the first time in more than a decade. Like I said, or like you said, actually, February 19th, the governor signed new, more fairer maps into law. These maps were seen before the Supreme Court, and they were also reviewed by 2 experts who helped in the New York case in 2022. And so they chose some of the maps that were the least gerrymandered, and one of those maps was the governor's maps. So although it's not the best map in the eye of a lot of people, it's a fairer map, and it gives us an actual almost fighting chance at finally getting some real representation in the state of Wisconsin after a decade and a half.
And thank you for saying that, because I was just going to ask you about the fairness of the new maps and whether it gives advantage to one group or the other. But who will be primarily affected by the changes in the maps?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen so folks can see where they can find their map, and then we can look at the map in real time. So we can cross-compare the maps from 2022 and the maps from 2024. So as you can see, this is the legislative website, and it's legis.wisconsin.gov. And you can find the map by clicking at the bottom right hand of the corner. There's a little kind of map and a little, can't think of the name, like a little loop. And so these are what we're looking at right now is, let me bring this back. We're looking at the 2022 Assembly District maps. So I'm going to put SOC's address in here, which I think is 3300 South Layton Avenue, Boulevard, Layton Boulevard. And it'll zoom me in to that address. So it'll show you who the legislators who represent the district are, senators, representatives. But what we want to see is if these maps changed at all. So, okay, so we're right here. And these are the 2022 maps, and these are the 2024 Assembly District maps. So as you can see, where SOC's offices hasn't changed, but if we zoom out a little, that's where we can kind of see the boundaries a little better. And we can see that the most affected areas are primarily populations where they have fluctuation in migration over the last 10 years, which includes sort of northeast and northwest Wisconsin. And here I'm going to do it one more time. So these are the 22 maps in purple. So I'm going to see if I could zoom in a little more to get some more. So these will be what the maps in 2022 looked like. And then if we take that off and we put 2024, you can see that some of the areas that changed the most were like these areas here, sort of in Green Bay. The orange, again, is the 2024, and the purple is the 2022. So these changed quite a bit. You can scroll down a little, and we can focus in Milwaukee, but as you can see, thankfully, we have fought to make sure that districts of people of color remain the same, so make sure that we have some contiguity and some community of interest support. So they didn't change much. And so, you know, if you want to have fun with the map and kind of see your new how your new maps will be affected, this is a great resource. Again, it's the legis.wisconsin.gov. And if you click search, it'll take you straight to your where you're located, and you can find your address up here, and you can also find the legislators that represent your district. And something cool about this is that you can see the legislators that represented you in 2022, and you can also see the legislators that will represent you in 2024 in case there's any confusion about who you need to contact, in case you want to contact them or how you want to reach out to them. So that's kind of how you use the website, and it's really interactive. And from my understanding, it is going to be up to date for when people, I'm going to stop my share now, for when people check their voting status or their registration status on the myvote.we.gov website.
So the new maps are active right now.
They will be in effect after this election. But the goal will always be that voters aren't confused between the August and the November election. But for this April election, people shouldn't be so concerned. It's just important to know and important for us to talk about it so early on so folks are prepared.
And your recommendation is for people to go to My Vote and check where they're registered to vote and what their location is and so forth?
Yeah, so that is the website that we use to check people's registration status, to check what's on their ballot. It's myvote.we.gov, and it's available in Spanish as well, so folks can definitely find their polling place. They can see what's on their ballot. They can even register to vote. They can vote absentee by mail, although because it's already so close it's already election day and it's already too close at all, we encourage people to go to the polls and remind folks that they have time off from work legally that they can use to go and vote today.
Okay. And do you think that from now to November, we'll be back here explaining the maps and the situation with all the changes, just to make sure?
I'm sure we will, and I will gladly accept any invitation that I get to talk about fair maps.
Thank you, Yuselis, and thank you for being part of our Vote-a-thon and just to give us this information. Thank you.
Yeah, and if folks have any questions, they can always go to fairmapswe.com, and they can contact me through there directly. All inquiries go to me. And if you need more assistance in helping more people find their maps or understand the website a little better, please, I'm more than welcome to support that. So thank you.
Thank you. And for everyone, this information will be posted in our comments.
Hi, it's me, Claudia. I just wanted to say that the reason that I vote is so that I have a voice in what is going on in our state, city, county, government.
Hi, my name is Mr. Moody. I live in Burnham Park, and I'm 44 years old and extremely excited about voting. Voting is important to me because in order for things to change in my neighborhood and things for the better for my family, I must let my voice be heard. So it's very important that we all go out and vote so that we can seek the change that we want to actually implement in our neighborhoods.
Hi, I'm Drea. I'm from the near south side around the historic Mitchell Street area. Voting is important to me because I know my vote is my voice. And if I want my children and my family and my neighbors to thrive, it's important that I vote in every single election, especially the primaries, especially the local ones. It's the only way to guarantee you're going to have clear communication and consistency with your representatives. And if we want anything to change, if we want more peace in Milwaukee, it is vital that we vote. Thank you so much.
The reason why voting is important to me is because voting is the foundation of our democracy. We can't expect change if we don't get out there and vote.
Hi, I'm KT, and the reason why I vote is because, one, I have a voice and my voice matters, and I think we have a duty as citizens to go out there and vote, and so we can help bring about change to our communities and better the lives for all.
Like we mentioned before, we will select the winner of a $25 gift card if we get 10 surveys in. Reminder, we would like to give more shout outs to our viewers that joined in the meantime.
I'd like to give a shout out to Gladys Morales, Sarah Smith, and Carmen Ortiz for joining with us tonight. Next up, we'll be introducing Nick Ramos.
We have Nick Ramos with us today. I'm going to let Nick introduce himself and tell us where he's from and what he's doing, and then get into a few of the questions that we have regarding the two constitutional questions being asked in the April 2nd election. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Carmen, thank you so much for having me on the Vote-a-thon. And yeah, I am the executive director of the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Born and raised in Cleveland, but I am coming to you live from Madison, Wisconsin. The Democracy Campaign here in Wisconsin is dedicated to being a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization tracking the money in politics, fighting for pro-democracy legislation and initiatives, and really advocating for a government that fights for the people and represents all of the people and not just narrow interests. And so very excited to be here with you today.
And Nick, my understanding is that you're not new to the Vote-a-thon. You've been part of this event before, working through some prior Vote-a-thons for the Southside Organizing Center, right?
Yeah, I am a proud veteran of the SOC Vote-a-thon. Previously, I got to enjoy being a part of it through my time at Vote Riders, and now I get the privilege as the new executive director of the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign to get to join the wonderful work that you and the team over at the Southside Organizing Center. I get to join the fun and adventure for another election day, and so I'm just thrilled to even get the invite for another election cycle.
Thank you, Nick. And going to the first question of the referendum, but could you talk to us about the purpose of that question? Why is that question being asked in this particular referendum, in this particular election? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think after COVID, we saw a lot of questions being asked as far as how we fund our elections here, not only in Wisconsin, but across the country. And so folks in the legislature and a variety of special interests, they thought that it was important to try and make sure that our local municipalities did not have the ability to be able to seek private grants to fund the elections and do election administration work. And so voters on April 2nd have the opportunity to either choose to allow our election officials at the local level to continue to seek private grants for election administration, or to be able to discontinue that practice. And I know it's one of those hypersensitive questions, at least within the voting rights space. And I can just say that for us in the nonpartisan realm that do a lot of really good work in voting rights, I can just say that we've witnessed a lot of election officials that have a lot of great need at the local level, and to strip individuals away, to get rid of that ability to be able to get private funds when there's not really another way for them to get money to run their elections. I think that's a real shame. It is a big deal for us to amend the Constitution in Wisconsin, and so everyone should make sure before they pick yes or no to do their homework at the end of the day.
Okay. And the funding that is obtained from private sources, can you tell us what is that funding usually used for?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we have to definitely demystify is the fact that uh, it's not used to sway elections or do any, crazy behind the scenes, behind the curtain things. It's to do what we would say the unsexy things. It's to pay for everyday folks to be able to actually staff our elections during the thick of just election day. It's to pay for equipment, it's to pay for postage, it's for PPE equipment, it's all the little things that we're not thinking about to run an election, to make sure it's a well-oiled machine. And so it's everything that I get an opportunity in this role as the executive director of the Democracy Campaign to talk with clerks, to talk with executive directors of elections commissions, and they're in bad shape as far as where the resources are, and they desperately need these funds. And so I think it's a real travesty if we take away this tool in the tool belt for them.
Some of us know there's already a definition of what election workers are. So what do you think, or can you explain to us, what is this question in the referendum trying to accomplish?
That's a great question. And I think Wisconsin is going into very uncharted territory with this particular constitutional amendment because from my research and studies, it's pretty much the first of its kind. Because as you correctly stated, we have very clear laws as far as who are election officials. And so one could argue and say, why are we even going to the ballots and having a constitutional amendment about this thing? If it's already clear in state statute, then why are we then going and then going to enshrine this in the Constitution? And I think if I were to speculate a little bit here, I think the framers or the architects of this thing, they wanted to try and intimidate folks that are in the voting rights space, that assist election officials with the kind of intricate things that might fall close to election administration and perhaps push those people out of the election spaces. And I think, again, when we're thinking even about question one, about the very underserved and under-resourced election offices across Wisconsin, I think if you're not going to present real solutions to these folks at the local level, and then you're going to push away groups like the Democracy Campaign, the League of Women Voters, the Southside Organizing Center, you're going to push away groups that have been for years assisting at the local level, these very underserved communities, then by God, I think we're going to see voting it's going to become much harder in a state like Wisconsin, where we pride ourselves on high voter turnout. We pride ourselves in being very efficient with it, even though it's one of those things that time and time again, I hear people constantly talk about they wish they had better equipment, more people, better resources at their disposal. And I just don't want there to be a situation where, there is a doomsday scenario, chaos. We want to make sure that people have everything they need to run our elections as efficiently as possible. And I think that these two constitutional amendments that are on the ballot, they're written so well that I think anybody that could look at these, I don't think they'd look at them and say, well, I don't see why not. I would vote. I mean, I don't see why I would vote no for these things. They seem not controversial at all, but there's some extreme ripple effects that will run rampant for our elections if we vote yes for these things. And so I think people should take some time to really become educated on both of them.
And Nick, if somebody wants to follow up and take a look at your position and your organization, can you repeat the name of the group and where they should go to obtain that information?
Absolutely. So my organization is Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. And you got to access the internet. You can literally go to www.wisdc.org. And I just posted a commentary on there. It breaks down just question 1 and question 2 and the significance of constitutional amendments. So you can get schooled on just some of the background and some of my thoughts on it. But I would love for you to just take a look, check out the website. We've been around for 29 years and appreciate you just listening, and go vote.
Thank you, Nate.
April 2nd is the general election. We get to use our power to choose our leaders right here in the city. You must understand that your vote really counts. You have to know that you truly have power. How do you know you don't have power if you never use it? We have to make sure that we get out on April 2nd and we vote for people who are going to look out for our interests. That's important because we have to live here. We ought to be responsible for those who have to lead. Go out and vote April 2nd.
Lastly, I'd like to thank our Executive Director, Ms. Tammy Rivera, for holding us all down this Vote-a-thon. Next up, we have our organizer and public resource leader, Stacy Carlos, along with us youth, bringing us information on the upcoming SOC events.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacy Carlos and I'm an organizer here at the Southside Organizing Center. Just hopping on to let everybody know that we will be kicking off our cleanup season with 2 cleanups on Saturday, April 20th, starting at 9 a.m. We will have 2 locations that you can pick from to help us come clean the neighborhood. The first location will be on 6th and Rogers, and the second location will be on 18th and Grant. We will have a dumpster there. We will have all the supplies in collaboration with Keep Greater Milwaukee Beautiful. They give us all the supplies, pickers, bags, buckets. All you need to do is just come on out and help us clean up. The one on April 20th will start at 9 a.m. And then on Monday, which is Earth Day, we will be having a cleanup starting at 4 p.m. on 11th and Mitchell in collaboration with Your Move Milwaukee. Also on May 4th, which is a Saturday, we will be having a cleanup here outside of the SOC office, and that will be on the Layton Boulevard, and that will start at 9 a.m. Once again, Saturday, May 4th, starting at 9 a.m. We will have a cleanup there and a little celebration. Also, I'm happy to announce that we will be having our Garden Fest with Bloom and Grooms, which is a low-cost plant sale that we will be having for our neighbors in Walker Square Park. That'll be Saturday, May 25th, starting at 9 a.m. And we ask you to come out, join all of our collaborators who will be out there giving us good information regarding gardening, beekeeping, clean, healthy eating. We'll be having recipes of what to do once you plant your garden and you have all your vegetables and herbs coming out. Thank you once again and have a great day.
Are you interested in social justice and community development? Civic engagement and sense of empowerment? And working outside? Well, join Earn and Learn. The applications are open now. The youth programming is from June 17th through August 4th. 20 hours a week for $12.21. We hope to see y'all there. Happening right now. The polls are open today from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and should take around 15 minutes to vote.
We want to remind you that, like Jonathan Zuniga said, you have rights. If you're in line by 8 p.m., they must allow you to vote. If you have problems voting, please call the SOC office or call the ACLU hotline for English speakers and for Spanish speakers.
For more detailed information, please check the link below. Here you can find voter information, including your specific voter info. Register day of with all the proper identification, which includes Your polling place is important because the recent census changed some of our districts, which resulted in some of our voting polls, location changes, and some sample ballots. Plus, more info. Remember, it is important for you to stay connected to your vote all year round by holding your elected officials accountable for their promises and roles. And just a quick reminder from our SOC youth, your vote, your voice.
I don't get tired of seeing the youth, and I'm so very proud of you, Isabel and Alexis, for moderating for this 6 p.m. Version of our Vote-a-thon. You're killing it. We're so proud. We're so inspired. All right, folks, we're about to wrap up. And before we do, I have a regaño. A regaño is a scolding. That's the word in Spanish for scolding. This is my reflection as the executive director and lead organizer here, my editorial. I want to challenge our elected officials, our administrators, and the technical people, like the legal help they get, to draft referendums. We can do much better by the people of the state of Wisconsin. Surely we could have drafted much more simple and accessible language for these referendums, especially because they were really related to constitutional law, and that should carry a lot of weight and responsibility. So for now, I don't know what can be done, but for the future, we'll leave that to you all who litigate about those things. But for the future, we need accessible language that is simple and clear for the average Wisconsinite. And we need equal to the consequence, i.e., this is constitutional law, equal to constitutional or whatever level referendum you're looking for. Time for people to understand and digest, outreach efforts from you all, and education from you all to the residents so that they can make an informed decision. Thank you to those of you who joined us today. Let me take a quick peek and see if anyone besides Gladys, Sarah, and Carmen, and some other folks, all our staff, our board, our youth. I want to thank the guests who came on to record messages and information, and our funding partners who are committed to democracy and to justice. I want to ask all of you who live in our district on the near South Side and the wider community, I want to invite you to partner with us in the work that we do. We do grassroots organizing for social justice. That word has been co-opted and used by a lot of organizations, but grassroots organizing is really about what power structures are you confronting to have equitable systems and liberated people in our community. And so if you're interested in social justice and community and grassroots organizing, whether you're an adult or youth, because as you can see, we have youth organizers. And if you're wanting to get involved with civic engagement, just like the Vote-a-thon we're doing now, we do tons of things. Please partner with us. If you're interested in leadership development, whether you're a neighbor or you want to start a neighbor association on the near South Side, join us. We'd be happy to support you. We do customized programs for neighborhood associations. We found them, we co-found them, and we support those who want our support. And then we do community development initiatives around safety, and that includes keeping the community safe from law enforcement. And then we do housing support and resources and advocacy and organizing. And then lastly, the largest population on the South Side, our Latino AX community. And we have several efforts around that. And stay tuned, we have some major announcements coming around that as well. And so please do partner with us. Give us a call. We shared our information with you. We'd love to hear about what you think you need, what your dreams are, what your concerns are. And we'd like to come alongside you, as many of us are fellow Southsiders as well. Then now we're going to share some videos to close out the Vote-a-thon. Thank you for expressing and participating in democracy today, whether you did so directly because you could vote or you encouraged someone else who could vote, whether you were a poll worker, an observer, an organizer, or a youth rah-rah team like we have, a bunch of precious and powerful youth. And so we'll leave you with these videos, and thank you for being with us today.
Hello, Milwaukee. We invite you to come partner with us on all of our SOC promotions, including our post-pandemic survey, to determine our priorities for the next couple of years.
We'd like to partner with you and continue partnering with you to help make your neighborhood dreams come true and address all your top concerns. SOC was started by leaders just like you who want to make sure the South Side was safe, livable, and economically vibrant. Please fill out the post-pandemic neighbor survey for an entry to win our $50 gift card raffle. The link will be in the comment section. Link or scan the QR code. And we hope to hear from you all. As we close out this segment of the Vote-a-thon, we hope to encourage you in your action on two things today. The first is ensuring your vote is powerful all year round, and the second is to join with SOC in the work we do with all the community. Engage with democracy and voice your opinions on our Vote-a-thon. Fill out the survey for another entry in the $50 gift card drawing.
Please share feedback via our forum surveys to help shape our future forums.
The link will be shared in the comment section below. Let your voice be heard and make an impact today. Get involved today. Democracy matters.
Remember, if you fill out both the post-pandemic survey and the Vote-a-thon survey, you will have 2 entryways into winning a $50 Visa gift card.